What's up, guys? It's Matt from RamseyVoice.com, and I want to talk about why you still suck at singing. But wait. Before you close the video, I want to tell you something. I want to tell you I think you're amazing and I love you. And I think that you have so much potential, which is why it pains me so much to see so many of my students, my subscribers, struggling with the same vocal issues over and over and over again. And I think it all comes back to one very, very simple idea, which is that the voice needs to be built in a very specific way. Now, the reason that I care about this so much is because I went through this exact same thing with my own voice over 10 years ago, way before I was a vocal coach, before I founded RamseyVoice.com. I was just a struggling singer hanging out in the BART train stations in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I was playing with my guitar and I was singing for the very first time in my life. I went to school for advertising, I graduated, I hated it, and I quit my job and I decided that I was going to become a singer, darn it. And so I went out there with all of my gusto and I had no talent. I had zero natural talent, guys. And I would go out there and I was getting booed all the time. My voice sucked, which is why it pains me so much to see you guys going through the exact same thing in your own voices, hopefully less publicly than I did. So in order to understand what you need to do to actually improve your singing voice, I want to tell you the three main things that I did totally wrong at first. Then I'll show you exactly what you need to do in order to get better at singing. And finally, after all this time that you've put in, all of this energy that you've expended, all the videos you've watched, all the blogs you've read, this is what it all comes down to. So if you watch until the end of the video, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. You ready? Okay, let's do this. So my first big mistake with learning how to sing was reading online forums like Reddit. I was also reading a lot on guitar forums because I was a guitarist. And it's basically just a bunch of angry people yelling at each other how you just need to imitate your favorite artist or just feel the music more. But I was already doing that. Next, I went down the YouTube rabbit hole. And keep in mind, this was, 2008, 2009. So YouTube was relatively new. And all of a sudden, as soon as I started looking at these videos, I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is the absolute best thing ever. It's all free. I'm getting lots of information. And I definitely feel like I'm improving my singing voice. The problem is that I was going down the YouTube rabbit hole without even realizing it. Rather than actually building my voice in a very kind of fundamental step-by-step way, I was just clicking on the videos that I thought I needed in order to become a better singer. For example, all of my favorite singers at the time sang really, really high, but I couldn't do that. I would just break and squeak and pop into falsetto anytime that I went to a high note. So I was watching lots of videos on how to hit high notes better. But the problem was I could barely even sing in tune. Do you see the problem here? Well, I know I didn't. So week after week, I was practicing along with these YouTube vocal exercises, not realizing that I was getting more and more lost and my voice wasn't getting any better. I was just getting more confused because there were so many teachers out there and so many different conflicting ideologies. I even bought one teacher's DVD because I wanted to just kind of get one voice that was telling me exactly what to do, but she honestly spent more time bragging about her famous clients than actually teaching me how to sing, which was a bummer. All of that frustration and plus getting booed every day, finally someone actually threw a can at me when I was singing. It was horrible. And I was just like, screw this. I'm going to learn how to sing better. I will actually take a voice lesson for real this time. And there I was in this first voice lesson with this guy in his basement studio in Oakland. And he gave me a really simple scale. And within 5 minutes, he told me exactly what it was that I needed to work on in my voice and in what order I needed to do the exercises. I can't tell you how important that is because it's kind of like all of that YouTube stuff just faded away in just a moment because all of a sudden I had an exercise that was designed for my specific voice rather than a million people's. So why are you not getting better at singing? You're putting in the time, you're putting in the work, you're reading everything, you're watching everything, you're practicing along. The reason that you're not getting better at singing is because the voice needs to be built in a very specific way. There's kind of a step-by-step methodology to it. And most of the time, you don't know where you are on that journey from a beginner to a professional singer, which means that most of the time you need individual feedback from a teacher to tell you exactly what it is that you're missing. So I created something really special for you guys. This is just for you guys to look at, to understand just a little bit more about the way that the voice needs to be built. So let's take a look at this. So this is the perfect performance pyramid. So the perfect performance pyramid, as you can see, it goes, this is my pyramid scheme, by the way. As you can see, it goes from building on rhythm and pitch, chest voice, head voice, mixed voice, vocal effects, vocal style, all leading up to the perfect performance. Now, there is no such thing as a perfect performance. It's just an ideal, just kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs and going towards self-actualization. Nobody ever has a perfect performance, but you're always trying to get to the most perfect performance that you can. So let me just talk you through this. So as you can see, we're building up from the bottom. These are the fundamentals. You have to master rhythm, you have to master pitch. If you don't have these guys, who cares if you can sing in mixed voice because you're going to be off pitch? Or building up from there, a lot of singers want to expand their vocal range. But as you can see, vocal range is actually the result of singing with both chest voice and head voice here. So you actually need both ingredients to work together in order to get your full vocal range. Let me give you an example that I went through. When I was first starting off learning how to sing, I was trying to learn how to sing in whistle register. Whistle register is like a vocal effect way up here, but I could barely even sing in tune yet. What happens if you don't have that pitch taken care of yet? Well, the pyramid falls over. So you have to get those fundamentals taken care of first in order to build up and move up the pyramid all the way to the most perfect performance that you can. How do you do that? Well, you do that with vocal exercises. And here's what's really exciting. Rather than thinking about, oh, I need to work on exercises for my rhythm, I need to work on exercises for my pitch, I need to work on exercises for chest voice and for head voice and mixed voice and vocal effects and all this stuff, the cool thing about the Ramsey vocal method is that I want to give you exercises that will cover several different parts simultaneously. So maybe we'll cover an exercise that works on pitch, but also develops your chest voice, and that will lead to a mixed voice here. Then you can start worrying about all the other stuff like resting your larynx, singing with vibrato, duration, dynamics, etc. So with that said, let's go through a really bad example. This is what not to do. And this is where I see a lot of you guys getting stuck right away. Okay, so just follow me here. I haven't done this before, so we're just going to do this totally live. Okay, so I'll do this in an incognito video. That way you can actually see what it's going to be like. So I go to YouTube. And I'm like, I want to learn how to sing. Okay, great. So I found a video on how to sing. So I clicked this first video on how to sing in 5 minutes. Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay, so in this very first exercise here, Aaron Anastasi is giving us an exercise, a semi-occluded vocal tract exercise, SOVT exercise on zzz. It's an octave repeat zzz, like zzz. Now that can be a really great exercise for a lot of singers because it keeps a lot of the positive frequencies in the voice. So what Aaron's done is he's working on a warm-up exercise that's taking me from my chest voice presumably up into my head voice. The exercise that he gave me only brought me up to a C4. It's pretty low for men. It's not really taking them into the bridge, and it's pretty low for women too. They probably won't even be able to sing that low, so they'll probably sing an octave higher, which would maybe bring them up into their bridge if they do it right. But what happens if you're not actually singing in tune yet? What if you're not actually singing on pitch just yet? Well, then you can't really go up into this next area yet because you're still trapped down here. Any of the exercises that you do up here, going from chest voice to head voice, aren't actually really going to help you with your pitch just yet because you haven't tackled that first issue yet. but I'm a good student. So I'm going to keep on going down the rabbit hole. I'm going to click on the next video. Let's click on this next one. This one has almost a million views. How to sing better with a clear voice. I want a clear voice. That sounds awesome. So going into the second video, basically Amazane, I think I said her name right. Amazane is basically telling you tips to avoid mucus buildup in your voice. So yes, that's very, very important to a clear voice, but it's not really tackling anything on the pyramid itself. It's all kind of like maybe external. You could maybe argue that this is kind of like more of like a vocal effect, like singing with a clear vocal tone or something like that is kind of where she's at. But again, that's not going to help anybody that isn't singing with rhythm, with pitch, chest voice, head voice. Yeah, they'll be singing with a clearer voice, but they'll still be out of tune and out of time. Now, I'm a good student, so I'm going to keep going down this way. I'm going to see if there's anything else that I can learn this way. So this looks good. How to sing any song. I really want to click on this. It's got 5 million views almost. So I'm going to click on it because obviously I'm here to learn how to sing songs, not just do a bunch of vocal exercises, right? Here we go. Okay, so this video is actually really more about vowels and vowel modifications. This is something I talk about a lot on my channel, but again, let's look back at the pyramid. So vowels, I would say vowels are probably going to take their best place in terms of the transitions into head voice and into mixed voice here. So these are really, really important to get your vowels right. Why do I say that? Because if you're singing an E on the bottom, E, but then you have to sing an E like on a G4, for instance, that has to turn into an E in order to sound right. It has to turn into an E on an A4 because all of a sudden that vowel has to change in order to get more into my head voice in order to get a better mixed voice. But let's say that I'm struggling with my rhythm. All of a sudden, all of that work that I've done with vowel modifications, now I think that vowels are the key, but actually I'm not singing rhythm, or maybe I'm struggling with pitch. The vowels aren't really going to help me with my pitch. Instead, they're going to help me with my head voice, or maybe even my mixed voice. Or you can even use vowels as part of your vocal style or part of vocal effects. This covers lots of different things because vowels are a tool or an exercise that you can use to move up the singing pyramid. So you can see here, we've looked at 3 different videos. We saw one that's bringing you from your chest voice to your head voice. We saw one that was related to getting rid of mucus, which is absolutely important, but really more has to do with clear vocal tone, and is really more of a, maybe just even before a fundamental, you just want to make sure that you avoid that kind of stuff. It's not really working on your singing voice unless you already have a very good singing voice. And then we also looked at one that had to do with vowels and understanding the vowels are the key to everything, and that really has most to do with mixed voice and getting the best mixed voice that you can. So we've been all over the pyramid. We've been here, rhythm, we've been in pitch, head voice, chest voice, mixed voice, vocal effects. We didn't really cover a whole lot of style, but none of these are really necessarily getting us any closer to that perfect performance that we want because it's not taking into account some of the stuff that has to happen first. So what is the solution? What is the solution to getting up this pyramid as quickly as possible? Here it is. Here's all you need to know. You need to work with exercises that will build your voice from the ground up. Even if you're a professional singer, someone who's been doing this for a long time, it really can't hurt to start at the bottom and move up through these levels. Or with a professional, you would oftentimes work on several of these things at one time. But for many of the beginners that watch my channel, I see that they're curious about expanding their vocal range. Their vocal range doesn't even come into play until you've already got pitch and rhythm. And if you're singing out of tune, no one cares if you can hit higher notes. No one cares whether you can sing in whistle register if you can't actually sing in mixed voice. If you can't sing above an E4 in your voice without mixing, then why even sing in your whistle register? It's not like that's going to make things any better. So what you need to do is you need to work with vocal exercises that will build your voice from the ground up, preferably working on many of these different sections all at one time. And you also need individual feedback to tell you what you're missing, to tell you what part of this pyramid you're getting lost in and what you need to really be working on. So the formula that I want you guys to understand, the key to getting towards that perfect performance is great exercises plus individual feedback equals huge results fast. But many of you guys are just watching videos. You're not actually getting the feedback that you need in order to advance up the pyramid towards that more perfect performance. That's why that everybody that enrolls in my complete singing course, Master Your Voice, gets an individualized vocal assessment as soon as they join the course. I cannot tell you how important it is. It's not just a singing course with a ton of vocal exercises to it. There's actually this individual component where I assess your voice and tell you exactly where we're getting lost in here and what it is that you need to work on. If you want to get enrolled, make sure to get on the waiting list or consider taking a private lesson. But I also do have a fantastic video. It's called How to Sing Better, and it takes you through all of this from the ground up, working through rhythm, pitch, chest voice, head voice, mixed voice, vocal effects, all moving up towards that more perfect performance, and you can click on it right here.